This video is sponsored by the Foggy Dew, Dublin's legendary pub, located beside the Central Bank and Temple Bar. Come in for great nights, pints and supporting metal. Shout out to our other sponsor, Helio Gas Detection. Hey everyone, this is Letty from the Smash and Skull Sessions. I'm joined by Caine Hemmingway from Believe in Nothing. Caine, how you doing?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you, Letty?
I'm good. I've been really looking forward to this chat because I've been listening to your guys' music and been really digging it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, there's a few singles out, isn't there? So got something to listen to.
Exactly. So, welcome to the podcast. To the listeners who maybe haven't heard of you guys before, could you introduce yourself and your role in the band?
So I'm Kane, I'm from Believe in Nothing, and I do vocals and noise and just generally the visuals for the band and all that kind of stuff. Believe in Nothing is a band. It's a little bit like Full of Hell and Chat Pile together. You've got the sort of slower, sludgy, tip in the hat to new metal kind of vibes, along with I'm liking this camera thing. This
Yeah.
is yeah, that along with the really it's dirgy, quite shrill elements and noise elements of Full of Hell. I don't really know what kind of genre we sit in sometimes, but I've just been generally referring to us as a noise band, or noise sludge is what some people have been saying. I don't know. I think it's a good thing if you can't pigeonhole your band into one genre.
It's just heavy music.
Yeah, it's heavy, it's fucking uncomfortable, and it's there to like really point at and provoke a reaction. Um, yeah, it's one of them.
Awesome. And you mentioned Full of Hell. I recently saw them when they played with Napalm Death in, was it March this year?
Yeah, same here. I went to the Glasgow show. It was absolutely excellent. I love Full of Hell. That's like, almost like a running joke. I love them. I do. And like I I've sort of chatted to Dylan a couple of times, but never in person. And I got a chance to like really have a good chat with Sam, the bass player, and their new guitarist. I can't remember what he's called. Well, Spencer isn't touring, but I knew the photographer who was taking pictures at the Glasgow show, and me and my partner left to get the train from Glasgow, and this photographer dude, he sent me a picture of being like, "Yo, Dylan's here, and he wants to say hey," and picture of him and Dylan. I'm like, "No, I've just left." Um, Literally just too far away to even bother coming back. But yeah, one day I will meet my friend Dylan.
Are you gonna go see them? I think they're touring next year. I know they're coming to Ireland.
Yeah, I think they are doing that tour with the body, and I think Jarhead Fertilizer and someone else is on that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'll do what I can to get in. I'd probably hurt someone to try and go if it's sold out, but hopefully it won't come to that.
Sell a kidney, whatever it takes.
Yeah, maybe a finger. I'm not a guitarist, so I don't need all my fingers.
Fair
Um,
enough. I thought they were class when I saw them play. I thought they were very intense. There were some good mosh pits for them as well. They definitely brought all the hardcore kids with them.
yeah, I saw them. When did I see them? When they supported Converge and had Pet Brick on the tour. Because Wayne Adams, who is like the front person of Pet Brick, and it's got Igor Cavallero on drums. Wayne is the producer of our album. He done all the mixing and mastering. I've known him for a few years, so we went to this is before Believe in Nothing. Went to see them, and then saw Full of Hell, and they were really good. But when they did that Death tour, it's like they stepped up. They really come with the A game, and just like the that mouth organ that he uses, fascinating, absolutely fascinating.
It just looks like he's pure inhaling it from wherever you see it from the stage, like because he's there like. "Ugh."
Yeah, I don't even know. The thing is with some noise things, right? Like I've definitely found you have to be really fucking like, hey, sound person, you really want to like not be shy with this. Like, come on, let's go. And sometimes it's like you need the aesthetic of the noise implements is just as impactful for the stagecraft of the show. So like seeing Dylan kind of like arcing in the light with this sort of thing is it's very entertaining. And yeah, I question how much impact it has live sometimes, but yeah, it
Like
is what it is.
Napalm Death were obviously like, the main act, but I heard a lot of people in Dublin anyway being like full of hell, like ruled. Because like it was
Yeah.
a stacked lineup with Brat and Crowbar, like.
Yeah, it was like a bit of a mad one, really. There was like thin sinew keeping all of those bands together. Um, and I like those kind of lineups where it's put together and it keeps you on your toes. You're not going to see the same band four times. I love that kind of thing.
Yeah, no. That was definitely one of my top 10 shows of the year anyway. It was so much fun.
Yeah, definitely. They were excellent.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Your debut album, Rot, is out the 31st of October on Halloween. How was
On
the
Halloween,
recording
yeah.
process for it?
The recording process, this might be a slightly long-winded one. So I'm going to start just back before the recording process, just to give a little bit of context. Like when we started writing music, um, it was not easy. It didn't come like that. Yeah. Just as I thought that we were just about getting there, I ended up getting pneumonia, and like I was written off for like a month, 6 weeks, and then it took me probably about maybe 3 to 6 months to really get back to being okay. Um, so within all of that, we lost a drummer, and our the guy who I've originally sort of jammed out the band with, um, we made Fistful of Worms in like an afternoon, and then the version that's on Spotify is just basically re-recorded. Haven't really done much on it. But anyway, yeah, like I got pneumonia. I didn't know whether I was going to be able to do vocals again in any capacity. So I had to adapt and overcome and really try some new things out. And some of those things happened like at the mic when we recorded those songs, and you hear that shit for like the first time. Um, so the recording process was a privilege. Like that's the underlining element for me, because I didn't know whether I was ever going to be able to do it again. Um,
And and how did it feel when you got back into the studio and like, did the first session of vocals after being ill?
it was it was really hard. It was so difficult. Like I had to I was playing with like keeping the band going, but maybe not doing vocals so heavy. So like I had this dictaphone of David Tennant reading War of the Worlds, and I was like looping that through these weird delay kind of reverby pedals and like bit crushing it, and it was all very strange and experimental. And then I do the odd like but I got back into it and my health sort of started to improve, and I had to give myself the space, because in old bands it was like I was just bang, 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 just constantly barking away. So it was um it was an exploration of finding these new compromises. So I think that is like the underlying bit of magic in Believe in Nothing. Like we had to find our boundaries, find compromises, and just explore all of that musically. But like more specifically, like recording the album, first four singles that come out on, I suppose, the collection of such. the Boiling Stone EP, they were all uh, recorded before we got signed by Church Road. So they were just like pretty much demos that we did with our drummer Jasper in the studio that we always practiced in. Um, and then we were like, this is pretty fucking good. Let's send it off to Wayne and get it mixed and mastered. So for those first four tracks, like Complete Desolation, What Would You Do, Fistful of Worms, and Boiling Stone, they went off to Wayne. He like done his magic and made it, just made decisions that we weren't brave enough to make, basically. And then um and then he sent it off to Church Road and they were like, hey, we'd quite like to sign you and then we'll do an album and stuff. And we're like, oh fucking hell, okay. So that's cool. And we cried a lot.
I
But
like
then
to
we were
think
like,
that's how the email, hey, can we do an album with you?
well, it wasn't just as simple as that, but in some ways it was. Like we had a Zoom meeting and like top of mine and Steve, our guitarist, like agenda was, what is the nature of this Zoom call? What do you want with us? And yeah, it came to fruition pretty quickly, which was staggering because like we wrote this fucking weird music without anyone in mind, which I think is how you always get the best out of yourself. Like this wasn't to please anyone. This was four people looking to express themselves in a room, make heavy music, have fun, and just kind of like see what boundaries we can reach, not even push, like not try and fucking reinvent the wheel. Um, anyway, long story short, we had these four tracks done in not the most fluid way, and then we had to fit. We've got another half of the album essentially to do, so we had to repeat the process. Whereas in any conventional circumstance, we would have just headed to a studio, had a producer like Wayne Adams have us for like a week or two and done an album like that. But we've had to do it like recording in Eastbourne with our drummer, really quite an intense thing for everyone, as DIY as possible, and then send those stems off to someone to make some decisions that we weren't even thinking of and do that again. So slightly disjointed, really interesting. Um, and yeah, like a once in a lifetime thing. I've written like some diaries on my experiences on the second half of them. Once kind of got the confidence that people might have a chance of giving a fuck about it. So maybe people can read them, and I'm going to start releasing them in the next like few days. I'll set up a Substack and yeah, start leaking some of that out, and then I'm just finalizing some of those diaries in like a sort of book zine format with photographer as well. So I'm getting drafts back from that. So that's really interesting. So basically, if you want to know really in depth, like how the recording process was, you'll be able to
Subscribe
read
to your
about it.
Substack.
Yeah, which isn't created in whole yet. Um, I mean, within that, like the Substack thing, like I want to share them, like how it was to make the album, how it was for me, like my experiences in it, especially like writing and conceptualizing a lot of the imagery, like lyrical imagery. And I'd love to just pop it out there on Instagram and stuff, but number one, I don't feel comfortable with dropping that amount of personal information on any platform that Meta is involved with. And number two, that platform isn't there to support that amount of like expressive text, whereas a platform like Substack is. Um, it's very hard to like put long form writing out without it being just glanced over. So from a very small bit of research, it seems like a Substack is where that kind of thing lives. And you know, if it's good enough for Jacob Bannon, then it's good enough for me.
Fair enough. And going
Yeah.
back to like, making of albums and all that, like I'm definitely going to subscribe to the Substack once it's like created because I love learning about that sort of stuff. But I
Yeah.
feel like the art of making of documentaries for albums and stuff is kind of lost.
Yeah, it is. I remember fucking listening to Chimera when I just was in like year 11 at school, and there was you'd be able to go back in their discography and they'd have like little making of DVDs, and like the Roadrunner album, the 25th anniversary one that come with this whole making of DVD. Um, that people have a thirst for behind the scenes, right? And I think bands want to put it out, but a band like us is never going to be doing that like TikTokification, talking head kind of um this kind of brash thing. I If there's going to be any behind the scenes on stuff, it needs to be the right tone, and it just needs to be just behind something. Can't just be there to easily be eaten and just being like filtered into your mouth like the slop from the meta gods. It needs to be just behind something. Oh, that's yeah, I see. Yeah. Um, so yeah, we did do our best to document the process as best as possible with like our favorite photographer coming down and taking pictures and diaries being written, and do a tour diary when we go on tour for the end of the year and stuff. So yeah, it's we want to share some of that kind of cool stuff, but I don't just want to like spit it out.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's the beauty as well with physical media because you can include all these kind of things like, in the little booklets that come in the CDs or the vinyl or stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's I wrote a book to go along with the album as well. I keep forgetting about that. So it's like a 10,000 word novella, I suppose you would call it, but like sort of like ties in all of these sort of horrible happenings, which are like told throughout the album of Rot. It sort of brings them all in and puts this arcing character sort of there to observe it all. And then the title track of the album takes parts of that book and puts it out there for you and brings it all in. I'm hoping it will hit like like I'm hoping 10 people will get it and they'll go, yeah, that's cool. Um, that will be enough for me. Like the general thing for any creative process is, like I said earlier, it's not really done for anyone else. Like for me, this band has just been like turning a tap on and just like letting it all absolutely spill out. So it's just been about putting enough buckets underneath my brain to like catch it all, and then I'll go through and edit, and yeah, and then you get an album like Rot, and yeah, that kind of thing.
Kind of letting it just go into the black hole and see what sticks kind of thing.
Yeah, man. Like conceptually coming up with these songs, um, you know, I think about it a lot. Like, where the fuck have some of these things come from? And I think the biggest conclusion I've come to is they've come from a place of real fear. Like, I think I'm really scared of what is happening to the world. Um, there's a lot more environmental commentary than I even realized. Like, I look back on the things that I've written for the album, and it's like, God, I really seem to give a shit about that, don't I? Like, hence the bucket and the sick coming out the brain. Just you kind of picking apart these tendrils of feelings and emotions and stories that you have told and fiction that you've written yourself. And I think it's all a reaction to what is a very scary world that we're living in. And I feel like Rot is a chronicle of these happenings and these mistakes from past, present, and future. Um, and people are often like citing it as sort of bleak and dystopian and sort of a societal thing. And maybe it is, but ultimately it seems to be affecting people, and people can understand it because they're scared too. Like I feel like it's an album and it's about fear.
Awesome. And as I said, like the music that I've heard from it so far absolutely rules. So I cannot wait to hear the full thing and to read along like the Substacks as well, like just to get more and more kind of insight.
Yeah, I mean, from the like kind of frantic amount of information I've just piled out, it there's a lot there. I mean, if people are looking for more like lore to dig into and context and content, like there's quite a few bits coming out in physical and like online. So the book that will kind of tie the album together is called The Wisp. Um, and then that'll be I think I'm going to print like 60 copies of that, and then we'll sell that at shows with the vinyl, and then the recording diaries are going to get printed as well. Yeah, there's just going to be fucking loads of shit pumped out. Yeah.
Cannot wait. Absolutely hyped for it.
But yeah, I
And
really appreciate your kind words on the on just the tracks in general. Like we're all really proud of them, and yeah, there's been quite a few people that have worked really hard on it, including our drummer Jasper, like letting us use his studio, recording it, just everything as DIY as possible, and then getting Matt Pugh from Brighton Electric and Wayne Adams to help push it over the line.
absolutely awesome. Do you have a favorite memory from the recording process?
I think um, when we recorded Complete Desolation, um, there's a sort of like middle eight area where all the heaviness sort of dies down and there's a bit more space. So as we were recording vocals for that, I sort of said to Jasper, like, I'm going to try something out here that I haven't done before, and it might work and it might not. And that's like the first time I did those really shrill, desperate, like screams, like sounding like I've been stabbed kind of thing, that have kind of become a bit of an underpinning thing within the rest of the songs. I think that was probably my favorite part because it was like truly something that I hadn't done before. And then what is on the record is what happened in that moment. Like there wasn't another take. It was just like,
One
and
and done.
yeah, man, like generally with vocals, I am pretty in and out. I think the title track of the album I managed to get out in mostly one take. I try and do at least sections in one, like it would be a whole verse. I'm not going to drop in line for line and stuff unless it really needs it. But yeah, I think that was probably my favorite moment because it was like I think we might be onto something a little bit different here. Like this sounds really difficult to listen to and uncomfortable. It come from um, I love lingua ignota. Like I don't know, have you heard her before?
I haven't.
Okay, so she is in that track Armory of Obsidian Glass by Full of Hell. It's on a couple of albums ago, and it's the female vocals that kind of stir up in a couple of the Full of Hell songs, and she's done quite a lot of collabs of the body and things like that. But I highly recommend you listening to her. If you like meth and you like Full of Hell, you probably like her. But she does this like brand of extreme vocals that just doesn't display technicality. It is purely from a gut reaction, purely from an emotional place. Um, like the screams of grief is probably like about as like apt as you could put it. So I really wanted to try that, and I'm so happy I've been able to get that into the band because like it's helped shape this uncomfortable thrill, like nails breaking at the coffin kind of element to the band.
I'm just picturing, like, as you're describing it, like, just the album version of Hereditary.
Yes, exactly, man. I think she did the soundtrack for one of um one of those scary films that everyone watches. But yeah, like it's helped like within that, it's helped add this horror element into the band as well, which like I know Steve, our guitarist, who does guitar and bass, like one of his bigger inspirations for making all our music was horror films and horror soundtracks. And if you ever get to see us live, like there's a huge amount of attention paid to interludes. And I've started doing jump scares in the set now as well, which is pretty fucked up. And it does actually scare people and me, actually. But yeah, there is hella horror elements to it.
What
Yeah.
What do you think? What horror movie do you think has one of the best like soundscapes or kind of things? Like I think Midsommar is quite good as well, just because how quiet sometimes that movie is.
Yes. You see, Letty, as it happens, as you've said this, I can't actually think of any films. Um, so yeah, I know Steve would be good at answering this kind of thing. I'm trying to watch more horror films, but um, I'm not, I'm not too good at that kind of thing at the moment. Like, I just can't keep that much attention on stuff. Um, I can just close my eyes and see horrible shit. I don't need to watch a film sometimes to be there.
That that's fair enough. Is it Steve's sort of influence that it's coming out on Halloween, or was it just total coincidence?
It's total coincidence. The album was actually supposed to come out on the 28th of November. So for the tour, we booked the show that we do in our hometown of Eastbourne, Eastbourne, on the pier for that day. But because I'm so incredibly fucking organized and focused with stuff, I got all the stuff over to Church Road maybe too soon. And they were like, well, why don't we put this out a little bit earlier? We can do it on Halloween. Um, yeah, so I'm hoping it doesn't come across like we're fucking Wednesday 13 or some shit.
Ice Nine Kills or
Like
something like.
it's not like a ooh spooky album. It yeah, it's like a collage of mistakes. It's not so much like a scary thing. Um, yeah, but apparently it's like once in 7 year opportunity to drop an album on Friday on Halloween. So yeah, I'll take it, man. It's cool.
Yeah, take it while you can.
Yeah.
And if you could collaborate with any musician, dead or alive, who would it be? And it doesn't have to be for Believe in Nothing.
Oh my God. I heard you ask Sister Seb earlier. I even though I'm slightly, I just for context, I watched the podcast you did of Seb from Meth, because I fucking love Meth, and yeah, we just to go off track a second, we went and saw Meth on the day we like dropped our first single just on Bandcamp before Church Road or interested or anything, and we went to see Meth. And the guys were like, no, we want to practice and keep writing. I was like, no, we've got to go. And I hadn't seen them before. And we saw them and it completely fucking changed the way that we write music. Like, no joke. There's decisions that we make now purely because we know that exist as a band and that we've seen them. So we went back to the studio the next day and we wrote a song called Meth, and that is the end of side A on the album. Like, and and I've told Nathan and Seb and the other guys from Meth about this, and they think it's great. Sorry, what was the question?
If you could collaborate with any musician, dead or alive, who would it be? And it doesn't have to be for Believe in Nothing.
Okay. I mean, I would say an obvious one would be Full of Hell. Like, I'd love to do like anything. I know they've done some cool collabs before of like Knifed Out of Existence and The Body and Mersbo and bits and bobs, and like Dylan's band Collapsed Skull have done some cool collabs. I would love to one day be able to like do something with them or Dylan or one of their side projects. And I have made it quite clear to anyone who needs to know what that would mean to me. I would cry and I would cry. and then I would do the best job I possibly could. Uh, but I don't know, man. Like Nick Cave, I fucking love Nick Cave. I'd love to do something with him. That's way far out in distant realities. Um, and yeah, like I sometimes think about Jimi Hendrix, what possibly he could have done to what music would sound like if he stuck around any longer. I think the not having his ongoing influence in music is I don't think music would be the same if he lived to be 50, 60, 70. I think it would have been incredible.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah.
think bit of a controversial one, but despite his personality, well, I think G.G. Allen as well, in perspective of noise music and entertainment, he was quite influential.
Yeah, some people say like the way that I perform has like got G.G. Allen elements to it, and I understand the words, but I've never listened to and I've never seen any of that man's stuff. I know he done some stuff with Poo Poo, which is not top of my list. Like
Yeah, he won't do a Duke Nukem, no.
I don't know what that is.
It's
Although I did
a
play the video game.
Yeah, it's a video game, but I know in the really bad one, which is the third one, I know you can go into the toilet and throw poop at people.
I'm not gonna do that. I mean, I do like genuinely try and push the fucking boundaries there, and you know, I don't think the set opens with me shoving a hammer down my throat as far as I can, like to pretty much silence. And that really hasn't been something we've always done in the set, but that's really setting the tone quite well. Um, and then I've been just generally getting up in people's faces the last few shows. I quite like that sort of visceral element. I've stuck my fingers in someone's mouth and got in a bit of trouble for that, but I don't see it as a surprise. Um, yeah, so I don't think I need Gigi Allen or his shitty fingers anywhere near me. Um,
You just need your hammer.
yeah, yeah, I just need my hammer, and we're like, oh, here we go. We're hand making all these little worms
Oh,
for
cool.
for tour. So we're gonna like make them into key rings and shit. So there's like some pictures of the last few shows with me with like handfuls of this draping like gut stuff. Um, yeah, I don't need Gigi Allen.
And can I ask, how do you swallow the hammer? Are you professionally trained or do you just shove it in?
I don't even wash it. Um, like I've got all these chains as well that are used on the noise board on contact mic things and in the mouth and like yeah, professionally trained. I don't know. Maybe one day I'll do a YouTube course or something for people to pay like thousands of pounds for. How do I do it? I just get this fucking hammer, right? And I jam it as far as I can in like the wide end in my mouth. And it makes me gag and nearly throw up. And then when tears are streaming down my eyes and I can see people being like, I really wish this would end, I'll keep going and just make it go further and further until I can feel it like really buckling up against my tonsils. Um, and then I'll take it out and we'll do the set.
That is the most hardcore thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, it's believe it or nothing. Like we are a live band. The record is fucking excellent. Um, if yeah, not to toot my own trumpet, but I'm really happy with it. Like I think I'm my band's biggest fan. Like, but the live show is deeply, deeply uncomfortable. And we've had people leave. I made someone throw up last week in Brighton. Um, had people cry, quite a few people cry, just because of how deep and visceral it can be. I do a lot of talking in between the songs about really gouging subject matter like self-harm and legacy and how long it would take to be forgotten and just really not very nice things. And it's a whole experience, not there for anyone particularly to feel like they're there for a good time. I don't want people fucking dancing. It's not for that. I'm there to really, really get in people's heads. So
Living art.
yeah, well, um, it's it's a whole experience, really. Um, like I used to in my old bands really personally gouge at trauma and like share that. Whereas Believe in Nothing is it's not that. I'm able to enter into a slightly wider world and show it to everyone, show something else rather than showing something from myself. And I'm really enjoying that process. And like, I don't think we've found exactly how far we can go yet with it. There's no sort of full stop there. It's really interesting. It's a great exploration. Like we're still learning how the mechanisms of the live show and the writing process and everything works. It's good fun.
Just hitting the tip of the iceberg of how far you can go with this.
I think so. Yeah, like I'm already thinking about the next album, to be honest. And yeah, I feel like we know ourselves as a band so much more than when we just released the first couple of singles. We're still really new. Like I don't know. I think we might have done 25 shows, something like that. I'm not sure. I don't keep count, but yeah, I feel like we're still very much figuring out exactly how far we can go with stuff. Um, yeah, but if anyone's listening to this and going, yeah, I might go and see that, you should. You really should. Yeah, it's good. I like it.
Hell yes. And Believe in Nothing, absolutely striking band name. How did you come up with it? If there's a story behind it.
There is a story behind it. As you can tell, the general narrative is a story behind everything here. Um, so in my old band, I threw a bin at someone off stage, and it smashed him in the head, and he got stitches. I can't remember his name, Aaron something. What a legend! Shout out Aaron something for taking a bin to the face at Green Door store. Um, so that was the effects of like taking that trauma gouging band and like it becoming not helpful anymore and getting really bored and just self-destructive and destructive towards anyone. So I think that was pretty much the crescendo of that. And it really fucked my head up actually because people really applauded that kind of behavior. Um, and I didn't really know how I felt about it. Like I obviously did it, it's my responsibility, but um, it happened. So I thought, well, I need a band name. We played with a couple of things. I think like bank art was one. Because I had some shoulder surgery and it was something to do with that. And then I think Full of Knives was one and Eat Shit and Die. Um, but Believe in Nothing, it was like, okay, that's suitably fucking bleak. And it's also got the initials BIN spelled out. So it would be like a little in joke, even if it's just to me. Um, so yeah, that's how Believe in Nothing came about. But it set a good tone for the band.
Eat shit and die.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it. Believe in
I
Nothing's great.
I had that uh, engraved on a lighter. So when anyone would ask me for a lighter, I got it done just after the first lockdown. So if anyone asked me for a lighter, it was like, yeah, okay, here you go, eat shit and die. Um, yeah,
Was it? There's a movie. I don't know if you've heard of it. I think it's called, yeah, Sleepaway Camp. It's quite infamous in how bad but good kind of is, especially the ending. but there's basically a quote in it where one kid screams, "Eat shit and die, Ricky." And Ricky shouts back, "No, I'm going to eat shit and live."
Yeah, that's well good.
Highly
Maybe that
recommend.
I'll have to check that out. I just love that's saying, whether that is a saying. If it's not a saying, people should possibly start saying it more. Eat shit and die. I think it's really cuts out the crap, gets
I
really
th-
to the point,
exactly,
you
like
know.
it's quite cutting, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Like there's there's definitely something to be said by like getting rid of as many other words as possible and just putting the exact point across. Eat shit and die. Yeah.
I think you should start using that as a call out.
But then people might actually eat shit, mightn't they? And we know how I
Mm.
feel about that.
Originally, you're from Eastbourne. The rest of the guys from the band are from Eastbourne,
Yeah,
in
that's
the
it.
UK. What's the music scene like there?
The music scene in Eastbourne is thriving, and it's thriving because of the hard work that myself and the community has put into it. Everyone from Believe in Nothing has worked their fucking asses off to grow a music scene from a broken little seed. The recession fucked our stupid little town so much that all the venues closed. Anyone who would attempt to put a gig on would instantly fail. So we all kind of clubbed together as a community and have grown something really special. And now there's opportunity for bands like ourselves. Like we're playing at the end of Eastbourne Pier and with bands like Healing Wound and Black Shape and Loose Ends. And we have Inhuman Nature coming to play the pier this year. We've had Pascagoula play the pier. We've had Harrowed play the pier. Um, and yeah, the music scene in Eastbourne is thriving because of the hard work that everyone in the bands has done. We're like this little ecosystem, booking our own bands, booking other people's bands, and it just grows and grows. Um, yeah, it's good, man. Yeah. It's probably my biggest achievement being able to help build something there. And then, although I've moved away, I'm still quite involved.
Fingers still on the pulse.
Yeah, definitely. Like I set up a thing called Tinnitus Promotions or Tinnitus Gigs, whatever you want to call it. Um, and my friend Jake from Black Groove, who are playing with us on the first date of the tour at the Black Heart. Jake's kind of taken the reins on that. And yeah, he's gone on to keep on booking some great bands. And then just like promotion, little promotion companies starting all over the place now. And, it makes me really proud. Like even uh, just up the road in Hastings, like they have a reputation for a really great music scene, and especially for like punk and heavy music. They've got incredible promoters there called WVR and some new guys called Wayside. And out of the three shows that they're putting on this year, arguably half of them are from Eastbourne. Like that 5 years ago just would have literally been laughed at. So yeah, we're doing good things, trying our best. It
Awesome.
makes me proud. Yeah,
No, that's really awesome to hear.
yeah.
100%. Do you have any favorite albums of 2025 so far, or any that you're looking forward to?
I have a favorite album, and it come out like last week or something, and it's called Getting Killed by Geese. Now, it's not your stereotypical thing, especially for this show. But it is the most fucking audacious soul indie jazz thing. Um, it's so good. I can't stop listening to it. And Hammer and Winter's solo album that I think came out at the end of last year is great. Um, I love riffs. I love heavy music, but sometimes I like to indulge my like late teenage, early 20s indie kids ears. And
Take a
yeah,
walk
so
on the lighter side.
yeah, definitely. Like there's there's something to be said in listening to a broad spectrum of music. Like I still obviously listen to some fucking like quite disgusting stuff. Um, but I've been listening to a lot of Aldous Harding this year. Um, and I love the way that she tells stories and she does ugly singing as well. She like really hit notes and try to hit notes that she just can't. Like, I fucking love that shit. Yeah. I would listen to Getting Killed by Geese though. It is really it's good.
There's a
Yeah.
really good band that I discovered this year. They're called Leisure Hour. They're American, but they've got this really dark song. I don't know if you've heard it on Instagram. It's like Jenny crashed her car, and I think it crashed on purpose. And it's like really dark.
Oh,
And
that sounds
then
fun.
and then one of the next songs is like about how they need their rent, and it's just like it's
That
just
sounds a
two
bit
whole
like
worlds.
the content of Couch Slut, if you've ever heard that band. They're very
I've
good.
never heard of them.
Um, my our manager's band, Deaf Goals. There you go. Shout out Deaf Goals. Um, they dropped an EP a few weeks ago, month ago. I found that incredibly profound and moving. Um, it is it's such an important album and speaking for such diversity. And while you know trans people are having such a tough time, that Harry and George have been able to make this record so viscerally, and it just goes. So I've been listening to that quite a bit. And then Mrs. Frighthouse just dropped an album last week. We supported them in Brighton, and they support us in Scotland for our tour. Solitude Over Control, I think it's called. Um, that is an incredibly brave album. And if anyone's listening that has heard Lingua Ignota and likes math and likes Full of Hell and all those slightly more challenging, visceral things, their take on that slightly more classical singing over industrial is beautiful and stark and difficult, and it's worth paying attention to. They are a very special band, Mrs.
Awesome.
Frighthouse. Yeah.
I'm definitely going to have to listen back and take notes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's just so much good music out there in the UK. Like gigging with Believe in Nothing. Um, I don't take any show we do for granted. I don't even care if there's a crowd sometimes because we are getting to spend our time with incredible artists who are making brave music a lot of the time, and we get to see people at the top of their game perform. And there's an there's a really really good music scene in the sort of metal ended of things here, and if people can take their hard-earned money and just try and get to shows, it's you will find something beautiful at each one. And if you can't afford to get to shows, just try to turn up anyway. You'll get let in by most promoters, 100%.
Awesome. We're on to our last question. Do
Mm.
you have any advice for anyone wanting to start a band in 2025?
Oh, um, so I would say you've got to make music for yourself and not for anyone else. Try and sound like the band in the next room, the band you idolize. You try and be too narrow, it's going to be boring. Um, you got to do something that shocks yourself. And for any vocalists, um, scream like you fucking mean it. Scream like you're scared. Screaming is like it's not to be fucked around with. You scream when you're in when you're fucked to do that. Uh, that's my advice.
Excellent. Scream like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah,
Awesome. Caine, thank you so much for taking the time out your night to talk with me.
thank you for having me, and I would love to come back and say hello in the future. And yeah, just thanks for giving bands like us the platform to be able to talk shit for a bit.
Of course, no worries at all. It's my pleasure.
Thank you.
And Rot is out now.
No, it's not out now. It's out on the 31st. But yeah.